Hey guys, this is Gamer Cal. Welcome to another Pokemon battle I had on Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. This one again is taken from Twitter, going from a dude by the name of Yoshirrrrr, who happened to be another person who was in a lot of my stream stuff before, and we had a lot of fun, you know, playing and stuff. He's been trying to get me to do singles for a while. He was trying to get me to do singles for a while before everything went down. So that's pretty much what we're doing. So I'm not gonna spend too long here because this is quite a long game, as you could maybe tell from my team here. My team is sort of stall, sort of more bulky offense side of things. I have a lot of setup on this team. 3 Calm Mind users, actually. Maybe a bit excessive, but it's pretty good when it actually works, I've got to say. His team is pretty well sort of on the speedy offense side. There's a little bit of weakness to ice, which I didn't get a chance to exploit in this game because I don't really have ice attacks to use. But you know, Mega Sceptile, very very fast, pretty powerful. Latias, good for reviving stuff basically. I was expecting Yoshirrrrr to be a pretty big threat as well, but let's just get in and we'll see how this game goes. So Cobalion's the obvious lead from him, and I don't want Stealth Rock up on my side of the field immediately, so I just go straight for the Sableye. And well, these first few turns you're gonna see I'm, you know, not exactly the greatest of these things anymore. I get played really hardcore during this, so I go Mega because again I don't want something like Taunt or Stealth Rock going in. I don't have Taunt myself, so I do kind of need to go Mega in order to block the hazards. But unfortunately, going Mega means I lose Prankster, and that obviously hurts quite a bit when it comes to other stuff here. So yeah, Will-O-Wisp gets absorbed, and then the obvious switch for me to go into is Viperia against the Talonflame, so Azumarill comes in, and I'm thinking I really don't want this thing getting a belly drum up, so I stay in, but it's a Choice Band one, and Choice Band Waterfall kind of kills me through Solid Rock, and I'm like, well, shit. Because Viperia was really my only answer to Talonflame, my only like super solid answer, and I was thinking I'm at this point kind of completely screwed if that, is there. So it was also my only Stealth Rock user, so that kind of hurts because Jirachi kind of has to switch out here, and he's going to go for the Volt Switch instead of the Stealth Rock again. So I was kind of hoping to get Sableye in against that, but no, smart switch out to Azumarill kind of puts a dampener on that. I know Play Rough is coming at this point, and there's not too much I want to switch into it, so I have to go back to Jirachi. Except I don't go to Jirachi because that would be the smart thing to do. Instead I go into Clefable, who really does not take this anywhere near as well as it should have. I'm just like, that's a max HP defense Clefable, and you just did too much to that. This thing has to be Choice Band. So it's at this point which I've obviously worked out that it's Choice Band, and I'm like, right, Jirachi's got to come in at this point. Clefable is just not great, and then I get critted as well just to add insult to injury, and I'm like, crap, this thing's gonna just destroy me now. I have nothing against it. Thankfully he switches out here rather than just going for the 2-hit KO, and that kind of helps a lot. So Cobalion obviously coming back out, and I go for the Wish because what else am I gonna do? I really need my health back at this point. And it's another one of those Stealth Rock versus Volt switchings, and well, I've been played so far. Kind of need to start stepping up a little bit, so I stay in against it. It does go for the Volt switch, and I believe it's Talonflame that will come out now. Nope. Going into the Landorus, because again I know absolutely nothing of it. I kind of reveal at this point I'm calm-minded, because I'm like, well, okay, need to set up here if I'm going to do any damage at least. If he's going to Stealth Rock, I may as well get to +1. But of course that's not how it goes, so there is that. But I do have fairly solid switch-in stuff against Landorus, and I don't think he's going to want to go for the U-turn here because Jirachi's a really big threat to his team actually. So predicting the Earthquake, going in with a resist, seemed pretty solid, and that's indeed what happens. so that's good. I take pretty much no damage from that at all, always nice. And Chestnut's not actually, I mean, most of these Pokemon are not Pokemon I've used before, actually. Sableye I've used before, and Jirachi I used in Gen 4, but beyond that, not really Pokemon I'm too used to using. So, using stuff like this is definitely interesting. You need to expand your boundaries a little bit, especially when you're just starting to play stuff or like relearning the games. You really need to expand what you know and to use things that you're not necessarily familiar with. So it actually switches out here going into the Talonflame, and I didn't really expect that. I just went Spiky Shield because I was expecting like a Draco or a Psyshock or something, and that's not what happened at all. So there was that. So I bring in Clefable and he uses Taunt, and I'm like, Clefable waggles its finger really threateningly and has like this weird expression on its face when it gets taunted. I don't quite know what's going through his mind there, but he shows the Talonflame is bulk up, and I was kind of ready to give up at this, like before against the Talonflame before, but seeing bulk up and the fact of it has already used Taunt kind of got me thinking, wait a sec, this thing probably doesn't have a fire attack. And if that's the case, then my Jirachi is completely safe against it. So that's exactly where I go to right now, and Brave Bird really doesn't threaten me, even at +1. This thing is, I believe, max HP, max special defense careful, because that Brave Bird does nothing, even at +1, and I can happily recover the damage that dealt, no problem. This is also a pretty important point here, is that you see there my Jirachi actually went ahead of his Talonflame in the Leftovers battle, which comes back later on, and I didn't really catch it immediately, but, well, I mean I caught it, but I didn't really register it. So, yeah, bear that in mind though, my Jirachi is faster than his Talonflame. That kind of proves the sort of HP special defense EV spread that he's got going there. Anyway, I wish on the Switch because that's the obvious thing, and I'm like, can Clefable take an EQ at this point? I actually didn't know. I was expecting this just a Scarf Lando, and it lives by 8, so I'm like, yeah, we're still in this. Okay, so Clefable gets the wish and recovers itself very nicely, so that's good. Clefable being at high health is always nice, and I really should have soft-boiled here. I had the opportunity to go for the soft-boiled on the Switch, and I didn't, and I feel dumb for doing so because it kind of added more risk into this match than it really should have. But Moonblast, even with the crit, does absolutely no damage to Talonflame, and now I have to switch because it can taunt or just set up on me, and I'm like, bollocks, because I haven't really achieved anything with Buffy over there. But Jirachi is gonna beast this up no problem. Takes the taunt. I don't really care too much about that. I expect he's gonna want to switch into Landorus in case of potentially taking a Thunderbolt. So I have 2 attacks on this thing. One is actually Thunderbolt, and the other would be Flash Cannon. So Flash Cannon is the obvious move to do on the Switch here. Get some damage off on the Lando. It's pretty decent, you know. He doesn't have any way of recovering Landorus on this team, and Landorus is really the only thing that can legitimately wreck my Jirachi. So getting any sort of damage off on it is good, and that's actually quite a nice amount of damage to get too. It's pretty imperative that I got something off there, but that was a good amount to get. So yeah, he wisely goes for the U-turn this time, and Chestnut's gonna get switched out on and probably gonna bring in Talonflame, and it's probably gonna be a bit of a time, but no, going in with the Azumarill instead. I still didn't know this thing was Choice Band. I was kind of thinking maybe it was something else and I'm just like underestimating Azumarill's damage. I probably would have gone for the Spiky Shield if I was like, yeah, that has to be Choice Band. But I switch out against the obvious player off anyway, and that does a lot of damage. Like, it's not quite as much as it did earlier, because obviously it didn't get a crit this time, but that is still a lot of damage, and it's like, ouch. So Cobalion's going to come in, as I obviously wish up, being very cautious with this Jirachi because it's the only thing I have against Talonflame, literally the only thing at this point. I absolutely have to keep this thing alive. So I basically play this as safe as I need to. And he still doesn't go for the Stealth Rock, he's still going for the Volt Switch here. And I don't remember if I go Calm Mind or if I go for the Flash Cannon here. No, I do go for the Calm Mind. Okay, so now I'm at +1. I don't know why he switched into Talonflame instead of Landorus. Maybe he was thinking I would go for the Flash Cannon again, because I still haven't revealed Thunderbolt at this point. So now I'm at +1, and Talonflame really can't do anything to me. And I'm thinking, okay, he's got to go into Landorus here. So I hit Flash Cannon, and I think I hit Flash Cannon anyway. And no, I do go for the T-Bolt. Okay, I am apparently silly. Landorus has got to come in at some point, but yeah, Thunderbolt was I guess the obvious move to go for there, and it still kind of worked. So now he goes to the Stealth Rock, and I'm playing super conservative with this thing because I do go for the Wish. This is how I kind of feel that you need to play this kind of Jirachi, is you need to keep it basically having the Wish at all times, and yeah, that's how we go. So now I think this is the turn that I was kind of thinking of 2 turns earlier, where we go, yeah, he brings in the Landorus and I go Flash Cannon, and it's at +1, and it really hurts. Because Landorus, again, is just about the only thing that can actually take on Jirachi here, and Landorus just gets wiped off the map with that. So, pretty good. Jirachi is looking strong here, but I really don't want to chance it against Azumarill, not without any sort of wish to back it up. So I do just go into Chestnut here. I was kind of thinking Knockoff was going to come, but Waterfall was actually the move of choice. That's fine. Waterfall's still pretty easily resisted, so that's good. And I was kind of thinking at this point, yeah, it has to be Choice Band. There's like no other way that it could be doing this much, so I knew he had to switch out. And I took this turn to go for Spikes, if I remember rightly. Yeah, there we go. Probably could have gone with a Leech Seed actually, and that might have been better in the end, but I was thinking I need to get some sort of penalty on that Azumarill coming in. So Spikes was the obvious thing to do. I don't actually have a Grass Attack on this Pokemon, so that's a thing, I guess. Drain Punch is my offensive move. And at this point I go, well, Sableye is kind of useless in this game, and if I could bounce back a Taunt, that would be really fun. So I go for it, but he goes Bulk Up. Intelligent move there. I mean, I could have gone for the Leech Seed, I guess, but still a pretty smart option going for the Bulk Up there. And I need to sack some stuff, and honestly Jirachi is like my win condition at this point. I'm thinking nothing else on his team can take Jirachi 1v1, so except maybe the Azumarill, if it goes and comes in and doesn't get OHKO'd. If Azumarill can come in for free and it has knockoff, then it can probably kill me because it's now super effective, and that's really sucky. But other than that, nothing else on his team can actually take on Jirachi. So yeah, that was pretty much my sort of thinking here as well. I don't want him to set up too much, because even you know, if he does get too high up in terms of like +4, 5, 6 or whatever, then it will really hurt Jirachi still with that Brave Bird, and I don't want that. So I kind of just sacrifice the Sableye. Sableye doesn't do a whole lot against his team. If I had Shadow Ball, which I've now switched to since, after this fight, then Shadow Ball would have done better, and I maybe wouldn't have sacked it, but honestly, Sableye just wasn't doing anything in this game. Not after losing Rhyperior so quickly. So I actually forget that I'm faster, and I knew the taunt was coming, so I was like, okay, I just need to T-Bolt here and get some damage off. But because I'm faster, I really should have gone for the Calm Mind there, set it to +1, and then I would have been in so much of a better position here. Yes, that perfect English there, Cat. I would have been in a much better position overall, but I didn't, and well, at this point I was just like, I may as well go for the Paralysis. was thinking of going Flash Cannon, but I didn't in the end because I was just thinking, well, the paralysis might help. So that's kind of what I did. I did get it, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference because, let's be honest, priority is the only way that Talonflame's going to be acting most of the time, so, you know. Go for the T-Bolt again because Sceptile is not yet Mega, so I don't have to worry too much about that. And I didn't know whether it was going to carry Hidden Power Fire or anything of that degree, so I just switched into Clefable just to check what it was going to do. And well, as it turns out, this Sceptile doesn't really have anything to take on Jirachi either, because it goes for the Dragon Pulse. And I was just like, huh. Okay, no Hidden Power Fire then, no Focus Blast, otherwise I would have used those. And it's not like mixed with EQ or anything silly like that. So, that was pretty cool. And, well, I just go for the softball because I was kind of thinking it might want to chance Leaf Storm and just try and go for the kill. Maybe sack itself in the process, but Clefable is pretty annoying, so I wouldn't have been too averse to that. So it's just a sort of back and forth with stuff here. I bring in Starmie because, again, Starmie doesn't really do a whole lot either, especially not now that Sceptile is Mega. So I was thinking I might be able to get a Rapid Spin off, and that'd be kind of cool. But Azumarill comes in, and I'm like, you know what? This is the only real threat left to Jirachi, so I'd go for the burn with the Scald. It's kind of scummy, but what can you do, right? Didn't get the burn, and so I consequently get mauled by a Choice Band Play Rough. So Starmie kind of doesn't really get to do anything either. But it's Choice Band, so Jirachi gets to come in for free. And that's pretty much the way this game is. This game is just like a love song to Jirachi, I guess. But and again, Jirachi was one of my favourite Pokemon to use in Gen 4, so it's good old times, to say the least. So once again, playing super ultra defensive here, going for the Wish first rather than the Calm Mind, just so that I know that I won't be taking significant damage on the way in here. And Sceptile's Giga Drain obviously doesn't do a whole lot, even at +0. If it had Hidden Power Fire and was just bluffing before, then the Wish would have made sure that I would have been at full health again anyway. So that was kind of my logic here. Alternating between Wish and Calm Mind to set up is pretty much standard for the way that Jirachi works, but there is a slight difference with this one, because most, like, the really super defensive Jirachis kind of need to get to like +4, +5 or so before they can accurately sweep. And I don't know why he went for the Defog here, actually. I mean, I guess it removes the spikes, but didn't really matter too much, I don't think. I guess it's just because there was nothing else to do. I mean, I had a Wish coming up this turn, so he didn't want to actually attack, but it did remove his Stealth Hop, which could have been nice for me. Anyway, Latias just kills itself, it can't really do anything to Jirachi anyway, and once again, playing the super defensive thing here. But anyway, going back to my Jirachi. So, unlike the standard sort of, I mean, it's max HP, but unlike the standard sort of defense, I think it's like 104 defense bold or something that it tends to run, or maybe even more than that, I don't really know, but it's a very defensive one with no special attack investment. That would have had about a 30% chance, I think Yoshirrrrr said. It was like a 31% chance to Oko there. But my Jirachi actually runs a very significant amount of special attack. It's at level 100 it was designed to get to 300 special attack. So it's modest with a pretty significant investment. And I don't actually know how much of a difference that makes, but obviously it makes a lot of difference to that count. And yeah, Azumarill kind of just got nuked by a +2 T-Bolt, and that was pretty much the game. There was nothing else on his team that could take on Jirachi, and Jirachi pretty much killed every single Pokemon on his team, except Latias, but I like to think that Jirachi instilled so much fear into Latias that she just had to suicide. Like, yeah. So, Jirachi obviously got the T-Bolt kill on the Azumarill. Flash Cannon obviously gets the kill on the Sceptile, as we saw. T-Bolt then with the -1 defense on Cobalion, gets the kill there, and Talonflame can't really do anything. Probably going for, I don't even know, obviously it wasn't going Bright Bird, that's all that matters. Probably going Taunt or something, or maybe Bulk Up, who knows. But yeah, Jirachi just kind of clean sweep, you know, clean sweeps everything. So, despite how horrendously bad I was playing at the start of that, and how much I was basically screwed if Talonflame just had Flare Blitz, like a regular Talonflame would, I somehow still managed to get that up anyway. Moral of the story, do not underestimate Azumarill. I probably should have just switched out to, I don't even know what I'd have switched out to though, that's the problem. Maybe switched out to Jirachi, but I'd need to see how much damage Jirachi can take with that. I'm pretty sure I can't take a +6 Aqua Jet with my EV spread. I don't have any defense EVs, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, good game, Yoshirrrr. If you guys would like to play, then follow my Twitter at GamerCow, because anytime I want to battle, I shall be asking on there. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the match, despite how, I guess, long it was, because lol, stall team stuff, I suppose. It even wasn't that stally, but you know, stall team stuff is stall teamy. And yeah, I guess that's it. So enjoy the rest of your day, I suppose, because that's what people would like to do, right?